let's dive into the damages, starting with smoke, fire, and heat. All of these systems could be affected by one of these hazards. We just covered this topic in our September webinar, where we agreed that with fire claims, the cause of loss is normally straightforward. But that is not the case with both smoke and heat damages, which can be very challenging, and we find many times claims reported as smoke damage turn out to be something else, like dirt, dust, and general lack of maintenance. Settling smoke claims without an on-site inspection is a risky venture, as photos don't always tell the whole story, and seeing the equipment and observing smoke odor would be needed in most circumstances. Then there is lightning, and with lightning as a cause of loss, we would have to either have visual evidence of a strike on site or to the item itself, which generally would be condensers and package units, which are located outside. But besides getting hit directly, on-site lightning might generate an electrical issue, or anything connected by wires could be at risk as well, which leaves out ductwork for this one in most cases. And regarding lightning, we need to remember direct lightning strikes, although dramatic and memorable, don't happen nearly as you might think. And our data shows that less than 1% of claims reported as lightning actually turn out to be confirmed as lightning, meaning 99% of the time, the actual cause of loss changes on lightning claims. And with high voltage surge, the system or component also needs to be connected by wires to the electrical system, so that also excludes ductwork in most circumstances. Surge is lower on the reported cause of loss scale, but turns out as an actual cause of loss, it skyrockets. The one thing about surge is that as an adjuster, there really is no way to make those determinations, and measured testing is needed in most cases, and that will take a qualified technician to conduct that testing. Theft and vandalism are other perils that might come into play for all systems with the exception of ductwork, which I guess is possible but certainly does not happen very often. Regarding theft, people are not usually stealing entire HVAC systems. They are typically stealing components of the system that are worth some money. And of course, the number one target is copper, which can be found in the condenser and evaporator coils. Of course, the refrigerant line sets are copper, and in boiler systems, copper pipes, and wiring associated with all those types of systems. Water damage is another common cause of loss, and again, we covered this topic in depth in a previous webinar. If you missed that one, the recording is also available on the resources tab of our website I mentioned earlier. Mostly we think of items inside when we talk about water damage to HVAC systems, and that could include both top-down water scenarios and rising water situations such as sump overflow in a basement. But don't forget about flooding, which can also affect outside units like condensers and package units that are at ground level. And although many policies may not cover flood, many insurers have flood insurance policies, and then some level of coverage may be possible. Hail is a common cause of loss for HVAC systems, and for the most part, we are only concerned with the outside units. Again, being those package units and condensing units. And of those units, the condenser coils are most at risk since they are constructed of soft aluminum fins that are easily impacted. But don't forget about, in some areas, residential and even more commercial settings, there may be outside exposed ductwork, which also would be susceptible to hail damage. And with wind, we would be considering the same systems and any exposed ductwork as we just mentioned for hail. One of the most common damages to HVAC systems due to wind is when the condensing units tip over, and we will see a good shot of that coming up. Foreign object impact also is one of those perils that normally only affects outdoor equipment, and foreign objects could range from falling trees and branches to a stray baseball from a backyard ball game. It is possible that both air handlers and furnaces could be affected in those rare cases when trees or large branches break through the roof of a building and the systems are located in the attic space, which we will see a few times a year. Animals, which could include raccoons, squirrels, mice, birds, bats, lizards, snakes, and even insects, can and do pose threats to most of our systems we have listed. But for some reason, we rarely see damages to boilers from animals. Freezing is not normally a big concern for most HVAC systems, but if you handle claims where there are boilers, then I'm guessing you have seen or will see a claim where the system stopped working for some reason, then the water in that system froze and caused damages. We do not have enough time to cover them today, but there is also a type of chiller that operates using water, and they can be affected by freeze. And we saw a lot of water-based chiller claims when Texas saw that catastrophic freeze event in February of 2021. And all systems are subject to loss by age-related wear and tear, and most of those claims were reported as some other cause of loss. A thorough investigation is needed to determine if the system was damaged by wear and tear, as sometimes it is not evident or the photos can be misleading. Then there are those other things that can happen, and we don't have time to cover them all today, but you all know just about anything can and does happen to HVAC systems, so be sure to get help if one of those not so common causes of loss come up.